Kid from Philly comes to New York and goes into the best kitchens in town and then becomes a media celebrity on television and radio. Mike Colameco, a life in food. When you were starting out in your early days, what intrigued you about cooking? I mean, there are a lot of, we know there are a lot of wonderful male chefs, but also I would imagine you're busy playing sports, doing other things. How did the food business call to you?
It's a good question. There's like a couple of answers. I think as Italian Americans, we have a connection to food that I thought everybody did. You know, you grow up, as I got older and would traveled a bit, and you'd meet guys from the Bronx and guys from East Harlem and Brooklyn who grew up in these ethnic enclaves. Everybody thought everybody lived like this. Like Sunday was the big day, and Grandma made the big pot of sauce, and everybody came over, and somebody down the street made wine. So there was this connection to food with me that was just sort of organic and ingrained through my grandmother on my mother's side. She was just great. Every day she cooked from scratch. And then, you know, the blue-collar experience. I'm a kid, and I asked my father for allowance when I'm 13. And, you know, my Jewish friends are getting bar mitzvah, and they have money, and he looks at me, allowance? here's the help wanted section of the paper. So what do? This was the 1960s. You pumped gas, you delivered newspapers, or you worked in kitchens. And I pumped gas and hated it. I delivered newspapers and hated that. Rainy days, it was bad. Kitchens, it was dry, you got to eat. And so from 13 on, really, I just worked in kitchens in and around my neighborhood, through high school, through college, and studied music, and music was tough because I played jazz, and you know, my heroes were like dead junkies. And there wasn't a living. My teachers were great, and they couldn't make a living. And I'm like, I'm going to be as good as this guy someday, and I'm going to have to manage a Burger King? I mean, what? So luckily, cooking became the fallback, and so I dropped out of college, left the music thing, and had a good enough resume to get right into the Culinary Institute when I did.